Welcome to the Thursday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday morning. Hey Jesse, hey Surfer Girl, how's it going? I got a job with decent pay and health insurance, so I feel like I won the lottery. Nice, congratulations. Congratulations. Hey Lasu, how's it going? KTS Shine, how's it going? So we got some wonderful folks in chat. Make sure you hit the follow there. Chillin', that's good to hear. Ooh, not gonna lie, today's gonna probably be a little bit slow. A little bit more chill. I may or may not have just woken up a couple of minutes ago. May or may not. Alright, let's check some of this out here. We've got a few. We've got a few headlines. Hey, Rendies, howdy. I'm making extra coffee. That's how it's gotta be. Alright, so we've got a few things to go through here, so let me... Lasu posted this, let's check this out.
As a white passing indigenous person, I feel it is my responsibility to say that I will use my white passing privilege in every way that I can. I am disgusted and disappointed in the entirety of Canada in how they are responding to this. The Humboldt Broncos stopped the country. We found 215 fucking kids' bodies.
Oh yeah.
And it took us
shit.
2 days to lower a flag to half-mast.
Yeah, that's right. Lasu, I believe you also brought awareness to that the other day. Jesus.
You destroyed my people. You ripped my culture away from me, Canada. And that's the best you can fucking do? As a white passing...
That's so sad. We were watching that documentary. The documentary in Tina _2's channel. Jesus Christ. Ooh, chilling. Absolutely chilling. Yeah, I thought Canada was nice. Oh boy. I think the in those what were they called? Not retention centers. Was it called retention centers? Something centers, right? 150,000 children that we know of. 150,000 children that we know of. Residential schools. Yes, residential schools. Thank you. 150,000 children. Jesus. Oof. Yeah, we watched some heavy stuff yesterday. I was lurking in Tina's channel. Jesus.
Boarding schools, residential schools. The motto: Kamloops Indian School, Native American boarding schools, residential schools. The motto: kill the Indian and save the man.
Yeah, similar
Canada,
to us, yeah.
There were 139 of these schools. In the United States, there were 350. That is 489 schools that were owned, operated, and funded by the U.S. and Canadian governments and the Catholic Church. I can almost guarantee at each and every one there will be a mass grave found that is filled with the remains of Indigenous children. And as our communities mourn, we are met with fake-ass apologies. We are met with resistance and debate from the citizens of these nations. We have to sit back and watch these governments act as though it's the first time they have ever heard of such a thing. Please tell me, what do you say to people that take pride in genocide?
Yikes. Yikes. I mean, what do you say? What do you say?
Medical Jim Crow has come to America. If we still had
Wait, what? Whoa.
Medical Jim Crow has come to America. If we still had water fountains, the unvaccinated would have
What?
separate ones.
Wait. Did I hear that right? Oh my god, this is beyond. I know where Tucker stands, but this is even more brazen even for him. Jesus Christ. Yeah, they were legitimately concentration camps. Yeah, it's not the first time we've done that. It's not the first time we've done that. Hey, Bread Crochet, how's it going? Did we not do the, not only just against indigenous people, but we did that, we had Japanese internment camps and stuff like that. I mean, at least from this perspective here in the US. It's not the first time. Howdy, Bread Crochet. Tucker has no problem pushing the line for ratings. Yeah, but this is something else. Jesus Christ. So, like, let's take that in for a second. Being asked for proof of vaccination to do things. To do things like, I don't know, go to school, take cruises, go on airplanes, go to sporting events, is the same as this Jim Crow segregation era. Like, holy, this is like beyond the pale. Isn't Tucker one of the guys calling slaves unpaid workers? I don't know if that was him. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising, but Jesus Christ. Hey Heat, how's it going? Howdy howdy. My grandpa and his siblings were taken from his parents and given to a white family. It was happening here too. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Lasu is talking about that, well, Lasu has been bringing attention to that for quite a while, since the beginning of his stream, or the beginning of his program. He has mentioned stories like that. That's just horrifying. Horrifying. Can you show the clip? I missed it. Hey, Reddit Forward. Yes, please, just take a second to take that in, right?
Medical Jim Crow has come to America. If we still had water fountains, the unvaccinated would have separate ones.
In his
Y'all caught that, right? That's not the point. The point is all others were admitted and accepted as facts, whereas here and is always met with lies and denial. Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, what governments do is, well, a lot of governments do is try to hide that, you know? Like that video said, it's hard to believe that they're now just acting like this is new, or like they discovered this, you know? You can't, there's no way they didn't know. You can't act like you just discovered this thing and like, oh wow, that was kind of bad. Nah, I have a, well, it's apparent that they knew. They probably knew. They've probably been knowing. They did it on purpose, yeah. Yep. That's right. And then you have to like, and then they have like the audacity to look at a real person, like like Rendies, who had this happen to their family, and then say like, I don't know, maybe that's not what happened. How can you look at like a real person and tell them that that's not what happened, or try to cover it up, or try to like, downplay it, or try to not like acknowledge it, or try to just sweep it under the rug as much as possible, right? How could you look at somebody, a real person? This is supposed to be the people you represent. You're the government. You're the Canadian government or the U.S. government. Look at them and say like, well, I don't know. That's horrifying. Stealing them. Yep. That's right. I mean, part of the reason why it's important to acknowledge things that happen are so that we can learn from that and be better and understand, like, yeah, there's a lot of these horrible things happened. Pretty cringe.
Latest mind-numbing rant, Fox News host Tucker Carlson is begging you to notice his white supremacy. Then goes on, as I'll show you, to compare vaccine requirements to segregation.
Yeah, like that's
now,
horrible.
I'm first going to play, so I'll play for you the full segment here, but first I want to play just the first 5 seconds of this clip.
That's right, but hey, made your life better, so I guess that makes everything... Yeah, we're square, right? We're square.
And watch what Tucker Carlson does with his mouth here. So he clearly is going to say the word best, but then instead says worst. Check this out.
Pretty much everybody agreed that segregation was the worst thing this country ever did.
Oh my god.
Did you catch?
Ooh. Ooh. Tucky. Bam. Just do it. Just say it. What's wrong? What's wrong, Tucky? Just say it, bro. Just say what you really want to say, alright? Just do it. No, absolutely was not. On the long list of stuff, on the long list of stuff, I don't know on the bad scale where that would fit, but...
Was the worst thing this country ever did.
Oh?
Did you catch that?
Jesus Christ.
This was not a mistake, obviously. This was done on purpose. This is the kind of thing Tucker has been doing for years. The dog whistles have just gotten louder and louder and louder, and at this point he's not even doing dog whistles, just straight up racism. So clearly here he mouthed that he was going to say best, but instead said worst. And as you'll see in the rest of the segment, the way he even talks about segregation here is just obviously done in a way to still placate his incredibly racist white supremacist supporters. So before I get to the rest of the clip though, just to be clear, they're gonna, as they always do, he's gonna pretend if he's called out on this that I wasn't gonna say best. You're just seeing things.
Yeah, well,
this is plausible deniability.
Yes, there we go. He took the words right out of my head. Plausible deniability, where people like Tucker Carlson have years and years and years of media training, right? They have years and years and years and years of media training. These aren't mistakes. Jesus, Rendies. Yikes.
Ability that these people operate on. But there is no plausible deniability when you do segments embracing the white supremacist replacement conspiracy theory and claiming Democrats are importing immigrants to dilute American voters.
Yeah.
When this is the kind of content you put out on a daily basis, the mouthing of the word best here was not an accident. And of course, white nationalist website calls Tucker Carlson's replacement rants one of the best things Fox News has ever aired. So when you have white nationalist websites acknowledging Tucker's show and the content that he puts out and loving it, they're his favorite person on television. It's obvious what Tucker does when he has moments like this, that they're not a mistake. Another example
Howdy,
of that,
Memo.
Laura Ingraham, here she is.
Ooh,
That's at the RNC back in
boy.
2016. Look at that
boy.
one. Obviously there. Right here.
Yikes.
That is not a mistake. She'll say, or she already said, oh, I was just waving to the audience. Yeah, waving just like Hitler did. Again, there is no plausible deniability when you say shit like this. Laura Ingraham is sickened by Joe Biden calling out systemic racism. Fox News stands by Laura Ingraham after she defends white supremacist other extremists on her primetime show. When this is the content you put out, you don't get plausible deniability.
Yeah, like, so maybe their audience has like maybe their audience has like, not only are okay with this, but a lot of people have the news cycle just kind of moves on so quickly that they forget that this isn't like a one-of event, right? People just like forget, like, oh, the other nasty stuff that he said gets kind of lost in the news cycle that cycles over just so quickly. But when you start to take a step back and look, there's patterns here, right? There's patterns here. Tucker, immigrants make this country dirty, Carlson has been doing this for years. Just very, very subtle. Nowadays, not really so much, but very subtle, very effective. Very effective. And here we are, 2021, talking about how there's such a thing, to even have the audacity to compare the Jim Crow segregation era to medical segregation era, because vaccines are the exact same thing as discrimination based on an immutable characteristic like race. This is just like beyond the pale. This kind of like was given credence. This type of logic was given credence because of Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene doing the horrifying comparison of doing the vaccine or wearing masks, comparing that to the Jewish Star of David back in Nazi Germany, right? And she did get backlash for it, but not really nearly enough. It was like, yeah, this is horrible, blah blah. And anyways, let's move on, right? Like, that's how it was, okay? So of course, now Tucker Carlson can come in here and say, oh yeah, vaccines, we're gonna have medical segregation just like we did in the Jim Crow era. Yeah, it makes total sense. I mean, like, this is why what you say and how you say as a representative, as a media personality, as a content creator matters, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene gave credence to this type of rhetoric because nobody pushed, like, the media and her own party didn't push hard against that, right? They were like, oh yeah, it was very, very bad. You shouldn't have made the comparison to the Holocaust or the Jewish Star of David that the Jewish people had to wear. You shouldn't have made that. Oh, it's just a slap in the wrist, and everybody just kind of moved on. Right? I mean, that's what essentially, when you allow stuff like this, it gives credence to then Tucker Carlson be able to do these type of segments, right? Yeah, the audacity.
But now let's get to the rest of the segment, which, as I said, is also just completely insane.
Pretty much everybody agreed that segregation was the worst thing this country ever did. Forcing certain categories of citizens into separate, lesser accommodations, barring them from public places, treating them like lepers or untouchables. That was completely immoral and wrong. We were told that a lot, and most of us strongly agreed. It was wrong. So imagine our confusion today looking out across the country.
What?
The very same people, literally the very same, who just the other day told us that segregation was immoral, are now enforcing segregation.
No.
Should we be surprised? Probably not, but we still are. Just this morning, the New York Times informed us that unless you can prove you have taken the injection that the Democratic Party demands you take, you are no longer permitted in bars, comedy clubs, even some dance competitions in the state of New York.
What? Wait.
Just this morning, the New York Times informed us that unless you can prove you have taken the injection that the Democratic Party demands you take...
No. Wait. I mean, this is a weird admission that there's only one side asking you to follow the science. So first of all, thanks, Tucker. You're admitting that literally only one side is trying to follow the science. And second of all, is there like some type of mandate where the Democratic Party has now declared that you must take the vaccine, or is it some type of health problem that owners of businesses, owners of bars, cruise lines, sports stadiums have implemented as a way to protect their customers and their employees? Could it just be that, or they're just warming up their audience to complete fascism. I've encountered a lot of racist guys in my life, but the rich racists like Tucker are the worst. Yeah, money and power insulates them from consequences. They're more brazen, persistent. Yeah, like it's basically like what's the worst that could happen if Tucker Carlson gets fired tomorrow, right? What's the worst that can happen if Tucker Carlson gets fired tomorrow? Yeah, whatever. He'll just go about his business. Maybe open up his own separate show. Who knows? Just a primer for the next episode, yep. I find it interesting how they compare vaccines to oppressive times in our history, and they fail to acknowledge the impact of our marginalized groups. They don't care. This particular person does not care.
The New York Times informed us that unless you can prove you have taken the injection that the Democratic Party demands you take, you are no longer permitted in bars, comedy clubs, even some dance competitions in the state of New York. You're too dirty to appear in public.
What?
You're not welcome near...
Wait, whoa. You're too dirty? Oh my god. This is horrifying. You were too dirty? You were too dirty? No. Tucky. This is a health problem. Okay? This is a public health issue. This is not based on immutable characteristics. This is not discrimination based on race, gender, orientation, so on and so forth, right? Unvaccinated is not a protected class. Okay? Just to be clear, unvaccinated is not a protected class. You can be about your business. You just, hey, if you want to participate in society, you gotta take your vaccines. Yeah, exactly. Personal choices are not a protected class. Correct. If you want your kid to participate in public schools, then you need to have them vaccinated for X, Y, and Z. Okay? If you want your kids to be able to participate in a college, that college may require you to have X, Y, and Z vaccine because, well, that's just a public health concern, especially if they're gonna dorm there, right? If you want to go on a cruise, the cruise line may require you to have this vaccine because A, they're protecting their image, their customers, which give them money, and, well, ideally, their employees. That's why they do that. It's not because there's some type of new medical Jim Crow. Like, what is this, like? Okay. Right, exactly, Ike Solis. Have you seen this? The New York single payer system? No copays, no network, no documentation, and it works if you retire out of state. Nice. Nice, Wing. How's it going, by the way? That's correct, Ike Solis. People like Tucker are giving the job of riling up uneducated to keep the conservatives angry and focused on a common enemy. Yeah, like this is just to rile up anger and to be as like salacious and also pushing the edge to see what you can say, to see what you can get away with, as you slowly push back that mask.
Normal people want to watch the NBA playoffs in person? You had better be vaccinated to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the New York Knicks will bar you from Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. The New York... Yeah, wait, can somebody fact check me here? To my knowledge, the New York Knicks is a private entity. New York Knicks... Give me the Wikipedia. Give me the Wikipedia. That's very interesting. The people who owned the New York Knicks, ownership currently Madison Square Garden Sports, is an American sports holding company. So that sounds like a company. That sounds like a private company. Not the Democratic Party. Not imposing anything on you. Just, hey, you don't like it? Here's a hot one. You don't like it? You don't have to go. That's your prerogative. You don't like it? You don't like their policy? Don't watch the New York Knicks. Watch it at home, inside. Knickerbockers. Yeah, he is a public health risk. I bet when fans walk up to him to talk about the crazy things he says, Tucker doesn't even remember. Yeah, I bet. I don't know if he actually really cares about any of this stuff. But it brings him money. The only non-private sports team is the Green Bay Packers. Interesting. Yeah, so anyways, the New York Knicks absolutely has the right to tell you that you cannot go into their stadium because of a public health issue. That's their prerogative. That is a private company.
You can still go see a baseball game if you want to, but be warned, you will be sitting in your own roped-off section, marinating in your shame with the other disobedient bad people.
Shame. Or it could be just simply that it is a public health issue. There's a kind of a pandemic going on where people who have not been vaccinated should be in their own section with masks until they get vaccinated, or stay home. If you don't want to wear a mask, if you don't want to get vaccinated, then we live in a society, okay? And if you want to participate in said society, well, much like you have to pay taxes to participate in society and get access to these public utilities, if you're ashamed, then just get a vax. Yeah, like, this isn't hard. This is just satire, folks. Move it along. Oh, no, no, no. This is 100%. This is 100% true. Is this a new SNL skit? Nope.
Medical Jim Crow has come to America. If we still
Medical
had water
Jim
fountains,
Crow.
the unvaccinated would have separate ones.
What?
Medical Jim Crow. This is a segment, word for word, that could have been done as a joke, as satire by Stephen Colbert, 10 years ago.
Yeah, true.
But this is real. Tucker Carlson put this segment together as if he's being serious. The idea of treating somebody who's vaccinated or treating vaccine requirements the same as segregation, you're just completely throwing out the whole issue here. You're not born vaccinated or unvaccinated.
Right, like, that's what I was saying. Like, this has nothing to do with immutable characteristics. Yeah, that's right. Tucker admitted he's not to be taken seriously in court. Yeah, do his people know that, though? Do supporters know that? Not really. Do they care? Even if they did know that? Not really. So, it effectively doesn't do anything. And first of all, who are these people that are going around feeling, because remember, like, when it came to, like, Jim Crow and, like, the segregation era, like, that was dehumanizing. That was dehumanizing people. That was dehumanizing, African Americans based on solely their race, right? That was the point. Like, out of all, like, the people who haven't gotten vaccinated, there's never, like, this is just, the idea is to shift perspectives and mindsets, and you end up thinking that maybe the segregation era wasn't that bad. Just like a downplay of that. First of all, it downplays that era, and it puts into your head, wait, now we're that. Gives you that victim complex. Because it turns out it's most likely that a lot of Tucker Carlson's audience probably is either on the fence in terms of vaccinations or will not get vaccinations. Or will not get vaccinations. So yeah, this is just Hey, sourcing. Dumbest rant as ever is a big claim. Tucker has a very large library. True. I mean, this is just beyond egregious. This is beyond egregious. Claiming segregation was the worst thing America has ever done is one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, though. I mean, yeah. God. This is unbelievable. 2021, folks. Where you can continue to perpetuate your victimhood. Thanks to Tucker. So when are we... Jesus Christ.
You're not separated because of the way you're born. It's a vaccine.
Jeez,
This is how vaccines work.
That is close to TOS. That is close to... Holy crap. Yeah, no. That one is... Whew. Like, I get what you're saying, Jesse, but Jesus Christ.
You vaccinate more and more people, the less of a chance there is of the virus spreading and mutating to the point that may render the current vaccines ineffective. This is why it is necessary to get people vaccinated, to encourage vaccines. This is not at all, obviously not at all like segregation.
Right.
It's also, I mean, even by his own measure, it's like yelling segregation if you're told to wear clothes when you go shop at Sears. Hey, I want to be naked when I shop at Sears. Why are you separating me from the clothed people?
Yeah, like, wait,
it's
what?
It's just as dumb as that. Yet here he is trying to make this argument honestly.
Well, I don't know about honestly. I think he's just saying things to push the envelope because he knows his audience. I honestly don't know if he actually even cares about any of this stuff, nor nor does it really matter, right? Nor does it really matter because millions of people still watch this guy. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if he believes in it or not, but... Hey, you Darknet. Okay, but that is fundamentally a difference for anyone interested. Yeah, I 100%. Yeah, like, it's just beyond the pale that this is the mindset. This is the mindset that we are living in here. That is a fact. Jassy, that is a fact.
Unbelievably stupid. Even Donald Trump told his supporters that they should get vaccinated. Yet, here Tucker...
Yeah, there's a difference between pointing out a fact that happened and then what could be perceived by the Twitch overlords as a call for violence, even though that's not what you meant. Right? Does that make sense?
Is taking it even further than Donald Trump. It's just amazing. And the other part of this, like, you may think that, oh, but, you know, if you're vaccinated, what does it matter if someone else is, you know, at
oh
the
yeah,
same...
Twitch doesn't care though. Oh, 100%. Twitch doesn't care though. That's the problem. Like, that's the problem. Twitch doesn't care. They will see something and they could potentially eat you. Well, not just Twitch, but like, you know, the social media overlords will ban you for stuff that wasn't really, if you take the context into consideration, even if you take the context into consideration, they can't tell the difference. That's the problem. Yeah, like, they don't care. It's because it's not like a human necessarily behind it. It's not necessarily the human behind it. There's just an algo that will catch that. So the context, what is the context of advocating for violence? So, like, for example, if you make a statement is, when are we redacted some anti-vaxxers? Obviously, the comparison is, hey, this has absolutely nothing to do with the segregation era. This is beyond the pale. This is, like, really, 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 really bad. We here, as human beings, understand what the context of that comment was. However, when the Twitch bots or whatnot see just that word, just that phrasing, when are we redacted some anti-vaxxers? That implies that implies a that implies an action, right? So that's different. In America, particularly Tulsa and Camilla, Georgia, had ancestors killed and robbed in both. What? Jesus Christ. So Tucker's suggestion is a slap in the face. Yeah. Yeah, that's what? I had ancestors robbed in both, so yikes. 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 Sorry, KTS Shine. True. Alright, folks.
Same store as you, or at the Knicks game, whatever. What does it matter if they're there because you're vaccinated, you're protected? Well, at least right now, we have not yet reached herd immunity. But on top of that, children, young kids cannot get vaccinated. So you're potentially risking them getting the virus, because if you're vaccinated, you can still get the virus and transmit it to other people. You just may not get symptoms. But you can still get the virus from somebody who is not vaccinated, and then potentially spread that to other people who also are not vaccinated.
Yeah, okay. So I get it. This is just ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. No, it's not about the jokes. We get the irony, we just don't want to have to explain it to the Johns. We meant true. No, worst of all, like, that could be seen by the Twitch overlords, you know, as something that it isn't. They don't, the Twitch bots, the YouTube bots, the social media bots don't understand the difference. Also, that's true. Yeah, that's true. More companies should avoid testing for cannabis since it's legal now. It's legal for quite a amount of states now for medical reasons. I think it's over 30 something. Amazon won't test job seekers for cannabis. Amazon said on Tuesday it will stop testing job seekers for marijuana. Like, the idea, so vax people can still spread it here, herd immunity will never happen. No. It will happen if everybody does their part, simply because, like, the percentage of you being able to spread it if you have the vaccine is under 5%, right? Is under 5%. So the chances of you spreading it if you are vaxxed are incredibly low. Incredibly low. And if everybody is vaccinated, it completely starts to null that out. I'm pretty sure they already stopped. I just started a new job at Amazon and they didn't do a drug screen. Interesting. Yeah, exactly. It's like testing someone how drunk they got over the weekend. No company does that. True. They should pay back wages to everyone they fired for pissing dirty. I agree. The company's second largest private employer in the US behind Walmart is making the change as state legalized cannabis or introduced laws banning employers from testing it. In March, so they didn't do it out of their own volition. They didn't do this out of their own volition. They didn't do this out of their own volition. They're doing this because more and more states are passing legalization, and either they're legalizing it or banning employers from testing it. So it's not like they're doing this out of their own volition. Yeah, we're testing to see if they got drunk a month ago. Right, like, okay. First of all, what an employee does in their time that has nothing to do with their work is none of nobody's business. What an employee does in their own personal time and their own personal life is no business of nobody but that person and those around him. That's it. If it has nothing to do with the job and doesn't pose any type of health or safety risk to everybody in the warehouse, what an employee does outside of their job is nobody's business but their own, right? The idea that companies can monitor your social media, the idea that companies like test for marijuana or other drugs, sometimes randomly, is just a complete invasion of privacy. Like, these companies have absolutely no business knowing what you do or anything. It's also stuff they impose on low-paid workers, not the executives. A large amount of execs do drugs on the job and they're never tested. True. In March, a New York man sued Amazon, saying the company rescinded his job offer at an Amazon warehouse because he tested positive for marijuana, even though the city banned employers. City banned employers from testing job applicants in cannabis in 2020. Amazon said in a blog post that it will still test workers for other drugs and conduct impairment checks on the job. Well, yeah, I mean, like, if there's a safety concern in terms of, like, you know, somebody maybe being drunk operating heavy equipment at a warehouse, that's a problem. Okay? But otherwise, what is the point? I agree with your point in relation to these employees, but I don't think that extends to public-facing individuals like a CEO or something. Yeah, like, exactly, like Darknet said, you know, the CEO can go and just, like, publicly smoke weed, but also fire his employees for doing the same. Like, what? Unless they're, like, you know, getting, like, super drunk, operating heavy equipment on the job, I mean, it's nobody's business. You do you. Like, what? Why do we need to, like, allow companies this level of intrusion into our private life, right? If it has absolutely nothing to do with our jobs. I guess they have different rules for us, yeah. And the company said some roles may still require cannabis tests in line with the Department of Transportation regulations. Yeah, depending on what this means. If you're caught, like, obviously, you know, impaired operating, you know, heavy machinery, that could be a problem. I get it. But other than that, like, they have no business intruding in people's privacy. Seattle-based Amazon also said Tuesday that it will support federal legalization of marijuana by pushing lawmakers to pass the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act of 2021. That's weird. Is Amazon gonna get into the marijuana business? They better not fire me for hitting my vape pens on brakes. Hey Golem, how's it going? I had a friend that works at Tesla and he worked closely with Elon Musk. He said the guy's a raging fucking asshole. I mean, from all the stories, I'm not surprised. From all the stories, I'm not surprised. He said some days he would just walk in and he would just be like, I want to fire somebody today. Oh my god, what a psychopath. Like, what a sociopath. And employees eat Elon's boots, true. Yeah, of course. Everybody go to twitch.tv/Golem. You don't become a billionaire by being a chill dude. Yeah, exactly. There's lots of stepping on peoples to do that. Yeah, it's true. I'm sure Amazon wants to be able to tap into that market. Oh yeah, they see it coming. Maybe that's why they're pushing for it. They see it coming. They see that being a thing. I mean, they acquired MGM. They're literally the largest company. They have everything. I mean, they control everything. They control shipping, distribution. They even have their own products. I mean, holy shit. That's right. You don't become a billionaire by being a chill dude. That's right. ADT shoutouts makes me feel warm and fuzzy. Oh, I appreciate that, of course. I mean, it's not bad that they stopped this. It's just to bring, like, the awareness of, like, how some large companies, just how some, like, large companies, like, have this level of intrusion into people's privacy, right? It's not just, like, testing for drugs, like, for drugs like marijuana, but, like, the fact that they go into your social media and stuff like that. So I work at a 3PL and I will regularly talk to customers that just want to give away from Amazon. They're like, I want something cheaper than Amazon. Yeah, but I mean, the problem with Amazon is that it's huge. The problem with Amazon is that it's a behemoth. If you create a competitor that's like, if you create a competitor that's maybe even better than Amazon, if you create a competitor that's even better than Amazon, Amazon will literally muscle them out. Amazon has the ability to, you know, you say, all right, I'm going to create, I don't know, ADT Inc., right? ADT LLC. And I'm going to produce, not only better products, but I'm going to make sure that, that whatever I do is cheaper than Amazon and faster than Amazon. Yes, believe it or not, we're going to do that. And Amazon will just come around and say, like, you know what? For the next 3 months, we're going to squeeze prices so low that we will push that person out of, we'll push out the other competitors, right? And no one is going to beat them because they maintain very low margins. Yeah, and if they have to go negative, they will. If they have to take like a loss for another month or two, they don't care. They will do that. I know this because one of the reasons why my I think what 5th job as a I was a web designer at a kitchen and bath design company, right? They went around and remodeled kitchens and baths, but they did it in like a very modern style. They did it in a very modern style, right? We were doing good, you know. We got pretty good products, pretty decent prices, pretty decent prices. They were decent. I was fine. Like, it was only a handful of us. It was like maybe five people working. I literally worked right next to the boss, right there, and what ended up happening is, like, a lot of the competitors, what they would do is, because they were so much bigger as we were trying to like start the business, as they were so much bigger that they literally just dropped prices to the point where, like, okay, well, we can't do that, but they could. So sure enough, the moment we came into the market, boom, they all dropped prices for like a month or two, and then it just completely destabilized the business, and then from then on it was all downhill. It only lasted maybe 3 years at most. The business lasted maybe 3 years. There's just no way. Yeah, Jeff Bezos is our new overlord, correct. So Amazon has all the data, true? Amazon, Google, that's it. Very, very much such competition. Very, very safe. Very good. Very healthy. Very healthy. So yeah, that's what they did to the business to destabilize it. Everybody else around them that was much bigger, everyone else who was around us that was much bigger just completely just dropped prices. Nothing we could do. They had a huge competitive advantage at the beginning by not charging state and provincial sales tax. Wow. So you want to know something? If you have a unique product, do not sell it on Amazon FBA. I repeat, do not sell it on Amazon FBA. Why? Because they'll steal that product, and then all of a sudden you'll see an Amazon basic version of it. If you isolate the market on a product and you're the only one out there, Amazon will literally hijack your listing, make an Amazon basic. Yep, yeah, I know. Yeah, you know how I started realizing this? The Blue Yeti. The Blue Yeti. And then they ban you because it's their own thing anyways. Oh my god. So like, oh yeah, hey, this sounds good. Anyways, you're not allowed to sell your stuff anyways because it's our platform. Goodbye. Oh my god. That's so bad. I'm so glad we have these antitrust laws because they sure do protect us customers. You don't use Amazon? Well, in the sense that like they don't purchase things on Amazon. Obviously, if you're on the internet, chances are there's a 1 in 3 chance that you are actually indeed using Amazon. I think what they mean is like they don't order from Amazon, or they try to avoid from ordering from Amazon. Like they've made it so much. They made it so that like the viable option is Amazon, and that's the point, right? Hey Alexa, what are antitrust laws? Sounds like Amazon is big on antitrust. Oh yeah, we can see by the way they conduct business. I remember that skit. Spread it forward. Yeah, it's not only just about being cheap, is that people can't, I don't know, like they it seems to me like a lot of people have forgotten or like just have the attention span of a goldfish, and I mean that in not in a literal sense, but you get the euphemism or saying. And Amazon, through very good business practices, has figured out how to essentially totally not exploit workers to get the one-day shipping, or sometimes even like overnight shipping, by totally not exploiting their drivers or workers or things like that. And people just don't go to other places. Sometimes it's not even about being cheap, it's just the fact that they can get that item in the now, right? People just want that instant gratification, and unfortunately Amazon delivers. Corporations do not want competition. It isn't in their interest. Proper maintenance of the system necessitates that government artificially enforces competition, but those days are gone because we stopped paying attention to the issues for long enough that the state is now captured by corporations. True. Yeah, sorry, Dark. Yeah, I guess. Hold on, folks. Hold on. Wait. It's true. Hold on. Darknet just brought up a very important point. We just don't get it, folks. All we have to do is work 10 million kajillion times harder, and then we'll all be like Jeff Bezos. That's it. That's what we keep forgetting, guys. That's what we keep missing. Okay? That's what we keep missing. If we just work 10 billion times harder, then that's it. That's all we have to do. In other news, at a climate meeting last winter, recordings show that the mere suggestion that shipping should become sustainable sparked an angry just wait, what? When I was a kid, you had to wait 4 weeks. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, Stupka. The fact that they perfected, and by perfected I mean totally not exploited, and totally not bring into questionable business practices, the fact that they can deliver like in a one day or overnight, that's what is the appeal, right? That's what made them. I see that, and the problem is, well, it comes at a cost, right? It comes at a cost of totally not exploiting your workers and totally not having your drivers pee and poop in plastic bags, as the many reports I've seen, and to the point where they asked specifically to stop using bags to poop in, because totally normal stuff happening there. I've used Amazon, but it makes me feel dirty. They're just less explicit about it. The last company I worked for is the third largest ISP. We had unwritten agreements not to compete with Comcast. This is direct from my chief strategy officer. Yeah, of course. If you're so big, it's not in your interest. You just carve out, effectively. You carve out, effectively, territory. That's what you do. That's what happens. That is what is happening with these ISPs here, right? Whether it be official or not, these ISPs are so big that they do that. They just split up territory. They'll say, you know what, you're big, I'm big, let's just avoid all this nastiness of competition. It's not really good. How about you take this entire section, I'll take this section. That's right. Something, there's no ethical purchasing under capitalism. That's right. It's hard to avoid. I mean, it's hard to, when you start thinking about it, it's hard to avoid. The stuff that we have, there's the computers that we use, the phone that we have, that in a way we need, I mean, I need my phone. I need my phone. There's just no way. I cannot just not have a phone. This is how I, like, keep in contact with my job, keep in contact with my family. Like, there's just no way I cannot not have a phone. And we can only do what we can and make individual decisions as we can. You know? We can only try to do the best decisions that we can as an individual, to try to do the best we can with the tools that we have within the time that we have, right? That's it. That's all we can do as an individual. Now, as a group, as a collective, we can try to shift government policies, leaderships, representatives, to shift things in the better direction. That's right. That's right, Kinetic Boss. The worst things that we do are the things that we don't need to do. Yep. That's true. That's 100% true. Holy shit. Yeah. An example would be the excess of plastic packaging. An example would be the excess of plastic packaging. Another example would be continuing to make said packaging of plastic when there are completely fine, cheap, viable alternatives like hemp. We don't need to do this. We don't need to have this excess of packaging. We don't need to make packaging out of these plastic-based oils, out of these oil-based plastics. So I think that that's the point being made here. Yeah, it does have to be policy driven, but we still have an obligation to do what we can to make the choices that we have available to us, right? Like, for example, I know that me, an individual, is not going to solve climate change by myself, but I still take whatever actions I can as an individual by, stop using, by stopping to do my best to not use plastic bags, be conscious of what I purchase, try to purchase biodegradable stuff. You know, these are individual decisions that we can make, and yeah, they do matter. I'm just trying to make sure that people don't lose that perspective, and at the same time, as a collective, don't lose that approach as well. We could reduce the amount of land being used for agriculture by 75 just by stopping animal agriculture. Yeah, I mean, like, these are things that we don't need to do, right? We can heavily reduce that. Absolutely. These are things that, that's another example. That's another example, absolutely. And all of that runoff and methane will be reduced too. I spent way more on a hybrid car over a normal car. I didn't do that because of my choice. Makes it time, but I did because it makes me feel good for trying. Yeah, but at least that decision has some type of, like, you know, ripple effect. Ripple effect because of more market trends. It makes people choose differently. As an individual, that is arguably the more better choice, right? I mean, you had a choice. At least you yourself made the choice to have a hybrid car. Whenever I require a new car, I'm going to make a conscious decision to not have a fossil fuel car, right? It's just that, I mean, I'm saying, like, that's the individual choices that we have. Of course we should do them. Let's not forget that, you know? But we also can't forget that just because one person bought one electric vehicle, it's going to make, you know, climate change go away or something like that. We can't lose that perspective either. Alright, so TLDR, this is good. But also, companies have way too much power. Not much in comparison to regular cars, I suppose. Whoa. All right. Well, I guess since we're on the Amazon tip,
Customers have been given very little time to opt out of a new Amazon program known as Amazon Sidewalk. Now, what Amazon Sidewalk would do is essentially allow your neighbors to mooch off of your wireless internet. It's a way of connecting users through this mesh system using very, very slow internet speeds or low bandwidth in order.
and now, I mean, hold on. Are they going to throttle people's internet because of this? Because that's kind of messed up. Are they going to throttle people's internet because of this?
In order to connect and set up various Amazon-related gadgets and gizmos, right? So I'll give you a few examples. As Ars Technica notes in their headline on this story, Amazon devices will soon automatically share your internet with neighbors. Amazon's experimental wireless mesh networking turns users into guinea pigs. And you have until June 8th, by the way, to opt out of this. If you don't opt out of it, you will automatically be enrolled in this program. And there are some significant potential downsides to it, which I'll get to in just a sec.
But wait, how do they do this? How is the plan? The company's devices being used as a springboard to build citywide mesh networks. Okay, so you actually have to own an Amazon device in order for this to work? Internet should be a public utility, I agree. I would imagine it's through the Internet of Things. Yeah, I suppose. I think you have to own a device. So, ooh, dodge that bullet.
Now, Amazon Sidewalk involves the company's devices being used as a springboard to build city-wide mesh networks. Now, they're not doing this in order to expand internet accessibility to people who might not be able to afford it. They're doing this because rather than maybe contributing to taxes and ensuring that we have publicly funded internet so everyone has connectivity, they've decided, no, we want to make sure that people who might not have the best internet service, maybe even people who can't afford internet themselves, are able to mooch off of their neighbor's internet through this system that we're setting up. Because remember, Amazon has a vested interest in ensuring that people, A, can buy their products and connect their products to the internet, and B, are able to use the internet for their own consumer habits. And that's not what this is about, right? But this is the beginning phases of that. And that's what my prediction is.
Gotcha.
So to give you more details, the feature works by creating a low bandwidth network using smart home devices such as Amazon Echoes and Ring security cameras.
Yep.
A new Echo can set itself up by using a neighbor's Wi-Fi, or a security camera can continue to send motion alerts even if its connection to the internet is disrupted by piggybacking on the connection.
Okay, that's just creepy. That's just creepy. That's just creepy. It's more about data capture? Maybe. On average, yeah. I mean, I guess it's better than regular vehicles, but I think the real thing is like moving towards more electric. What? This is just. Didn't we have movies about why this is a bad thing? Didn't we have like a movie series as to why like this is bad? Yeah, I'm 99% sure my Echo is listening to me all the time. Now they want to make sure it can extra listen if I turn the internet off. So like your smartwatch could effectively share your Wi-Fi credentials with your neighbors. How about no? Wait, what is this? I'm pretty sure we had like movies as to why this is a bad idea. This is like, I don't know. I think there's some serious questions about like privacy in terms of like this is going to open doors for a new wave of like the ability to hack things with worse ramifications, right? Like ransomware, like the ransomware could be really bad. Like, oh yeah, by the way, you can't access anything until you wait, oh my god, because everything is connected with everything. My Google Nest listens to communist theory all day long. Well, this is how people hack things now, and this happens now without this. Yeah, I'm saying, like, this could make this, like, a huge security problem. Whereas, you know, maybe it's just your computer that gets messed up in a ransomware attack. Now it's like your home. Now it's your home. Jesus Christ.
Of another camera across the street.
This is one of the most despicable things.
So, what's crazy about this is just how opaque this program is, how there hasn't really been much attention given to it, so consumers know what they're getting themselves into, so consumers have enough time to opt out should they find this program problematic, and I certainly think that there are some significant downsides to it. Other devices that don't need a high bandwidth connection, such as smart lights, pet locators, or smart locks, can use Sidewalk all the time. So, look, as I mentioned, people don't really have that much time to opt out. You have until June 8th, and if you don't opt out by then, you're automatically enrolled in this program. Now, once you're automatically enrolled, you can still opt out, but it's important for people to know about this program to begin with so they can make that decision for themselves.
Yeah, there's like a few days left, folks. Jesus Christ. Alexa, turn yourself off. I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave. The hackers who stole Target customer data a couple years ago got access by hacking the digital air conditioner. Yikes. Yikes. Yeah, send that in DMs.
The problem is, Amazon hasn't really been very transparent about it. It's a very opaque program, and even though they have a Q&A section on their website in order to explain what this program is,
yeah, all of a sudden
it still leaves people with
the Bill Gates chip doesn't seem so bad now.
many questions. So users can disable Sidewalk in the settings section of Alexa or Ring apps, but have until June 8th to do so. After that, if they have taken no action at all, their devices will become so-called Sidewalk bridges. So I want to take a quick moment just to help you all out if you are interested in opting out of this. So here's how you can do it. You just
Don't people put digital devices behind firewalls? I don't know if that's even a thing. What's this? This is us. Howdy. We do news and politics, and we are going over Amazon Sidewalk, which is a totally new program to share or effectively create a network of Wi-Fi using devices. At least Alex is more respectful than Siri.
open the Alexa app, you open more and select settings, selecting account settings, selecting Amazon Sidewalk, and then at that point you can turn Amazon Sidewalk off. Now let's get to the potential downsides of this. First of all, there are clearly some potential security concerns, because if, let's say, hackers get even more sophisticated with their methods, or if there are viruses that can affect one gadget, if you have multiple gadgets connected through wireless internet, could that indicate that one household that has a virus could then spread that virus to its neighbor?
Yeah, that's kind of a problem.
Of course, piggybacking off of the internet connectivity of the original person who got the virus, right? So there are security concerns in that regard. Some have also brought up some potential privacy concerns.
Yeah, that's also a problem.
You know, that
you can hack my PS4, but to succeed, you must first defeat me in Star Wars Battlefield. I'm still on this morning.
of course, has always been an issue when it comes to Silicon Valley tech companies and the way they not only operate in terms of, collecting data, but also how they sell data to third parties. They've been opaque about that type of practice as well. And then the final thing I want to get to is how this kind of plays a role in the ongoing share economy. So when you think about the share economy, consider businesses like Airbnb, Uber, Lyft, that requires people to use their own private property in order to make money. So in the case of Uber, you're driving your own private car in order to make money. In the case of Airbnb, you're renting.
Oof. That is a problem, don't you think? What if someone hacks your Wi-Fi and obtains your healthcare info? Yikes. Do millennials and Zoomers know what 2001: A Space Odyssey is? Yeah. Can you get a HIPAA violation if someone gets a hold of your info? Is that even a thing? I don't know if it's like if it's necessarily like a HIPAA violation, but it is. You can't. It's illegal for you to enter a machine illegally and touch data within that machine. It would be akin to breaking into somebody's house and stealing something. From how I understand it, it's analogous to you breaking into a house and attempting to steal something, right? It'd be the same thing, just cyber wise, right? You broke into a private computer. You touched if you touch the data there, that's also something else, another crime. Say hello to your nose house. His name is Hal. Incidental exposure to HIPAA information is not an issue. Gotcha.
Out your space to make money. In this case, though, you're not making any money, but you are allowing Amazon to use your wireless internet in order to help connect other people to Amazon devices, right? So it's just another example of a highly profitable private company using basically private Americans and what they're spending money on in order to build their own business, right? So they're building a new program, a new business off the backs of their own customers who of course aren't getting paid anything for it. They're just putting themselves in a situation, in many cases unwittingly, where this highly profitable private company that pays nothing in federal taxes uses their internet in order to.
Yeah, that's kind of like, that's another thing. The fact that these companies get to continue, this company continues to expand and expand and expand into new territory without any type of antitrust legislation. I literally do this for work. It's called BAA. All right, folks, hold on. The HIPAA privacy rule introduced a new administrative safeguard declaring that all covered entities must have signed a BAA in order to place with all business associate and covered entities to manage, receive, or process or archive protected health information. As one of the leading HIPAA-compliant hosting companies in the United States, Atlantic.net and our healthcare partners utilizing our award-winning cloud platform are directly impacted by this amendment. Atlantic.net is the business associate of each healthcare organization. Oh yeah, so this has to do with like people who directly work with who directly process or manage otherwise private health information. Yeah, send it to me in DMs, Stupka. This is why we need to return to the old times. Yeah, chat, there's no links in chat, so either send it to the mod or send it to the mods or just send it to DMs. So I distribute medical devices if I send the wrong device to the wrong person. Yeah, because this you have, this directly impacts you because you have, you know, this here. So I don't know if that has to do with everybody, but this is specifically the BAA and with the HIPAA compliance. With HIPAA and BAA is because you have dealings with this, whether you process, store, manage, or otherwise deal with private health information. That's why you have to be compliant, right? HK when it's upon request, Atlantic to that. Okay, so demonstrate that proven protections are in place to prevent unlawful PHI disclosures, including technical solutions. Do business associates have to comply with HIPAA? Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, it seems like this is, I spent 8 months dealing with a major healthcare provider. Alright, come on, fam. Alright, come on, chat. Stupka is a good person. Grolem is a good person. Come on, fam. If you guys have a dispute, how about this? Since, like, there's no links in chat, how about this? How about you guys send the link to each other so you guys can figure it out, because I don't even know. It just seems to me like this is oh, in Discord. Okay. Let's see. Wait, we are in Discord. Oh, literal DM. Okay. Incidental use and disclosures. Okay, hold on. Rather than privacy rule permits certain users. Okay, so how background. Many customary healthcare communications and practice play an important role, and even essential role in ensuring individuals receive prompt and effective healthcare due to the natures of these communications, as well as the various environments on which individuals receive health care. The potential exists for individuals' health information to be disclosed incidentally. For example, a hospital visitor may overhear a provider's confidential conversation with another provider or patient, or may glimpse at patient information on a sign-in sheet or nurse station whiteboard. HIPAA privacy rules are not intended to impede these customary and essential communications of practice, and thus does not require that all risk of incidental users be eliminated to standards. Yeah, so, like, I think that what this means is, yeah, so I think that this means is like a, I think you guys are talking past each other. Because this has nothing to do with, I think, the BAA. Yeah, so I think we're just like, yeah, I think that, like, we're just talking past each other. This is happening right now, by the way. Alright, let's check this out. Yikes. Oh boy. Hey, Peter Parker, how's it going? Alright, chat. Yeah, it just seems like people were just talking past each other. $25 tons of acid. Holy crap. Yeah. That is a catastrophe. Alright, chat, focus. Yeah, it seems like we were just talking past each other. No need to be fighting with each other. All right. Sri Lanka braces for an environmental disaster. Yikes! 2 hours ago. Authorities in Sri Lanka were trying to head off a potential environmental disaster on Thursday as a fire-damaged container ship that has been carrying out chemicals was sinking off the country's main port. The Singapore-flagged MV Express Pearl started sinking Wednesday, a day after authorities extinguished a fire that raged on the vessel for 12 days. Jesus Christ. Efforts to tow the ship into deeper waters from the port in Colombo failed after the ship's stern became submerged and rested on the seabed. The ship's operator, Express Feeders, say the fire destroyed most of the ship's cargo, which included 25 tons of nitric acid and other chemicals, but there are fears that the remaining chemicals, as well as hundreds of tons of oil, oh yeah, that's right, from the fuel tanks, could leak into the sea. So the disaster could devastate marine life and further pollute the island nation's famed beaches. The disaster has already caused debris, including several tons of plastic pellets to make plastic bags to wash ashore. This is incredibly infuriating. Infuriating. The government has already banned fishing along the 80 kilometers off coastline. The ship operator said Thursday that the vessel's stern was resting on the seabed for about 21 meters below the surface and the ship's bow was settling down slowly. It said salvage experts were remaining with the vessel to monitor ship's condition and oil pollution. I mean, this... What is there to say? This is completely effed. The company said its experts were coordinating with Sri Lanka Navy to deal with the oil spill and other pollution. Sri Lankan Navy spokesperson Indika De Silva said that the Navy and Coast Guard were preparing for a spill with assistance from neighboring India. India has sent 3 ships to help, including one specifically equipped to deal with marine pollution. Colombo's Port Harbor Master Nirmal Silva said there had been about 300 tons of oil on board, and the experts believe it could have burned off in the fire. Jesus Christ. We have to look at the worst case scenario, and we are not saying 100% there's no oil, but there's a possibility that there may be some. So far we have not seen any oil spills, but we consider we are lucky. I wouldn't consider 25 tons of nitric acid lucky. I guess in the sense that it could be infinitely worse, I suppose. Environmentalist Ajanta Pereira said that there is a potential for terrible environmental disaster as hazardous goods, chemicals, and oil could be released into the water and destroy the marine ecological systems. Charitha Patiatri, a professor of oceanography at the University of Western Australia, as many as 3 billion tiny plastic pellets have already been released into the sea and were washing up on beaches. He said the pellets, known as nurdles, will persist in the marine environment forever as they're not biodegradable. Holy crap. This is tragic beyond words. Hello. Ah, there we are. A fire erupted on May 20th when the ship was anchored about 9.5 nautical miles northwest of Colombo, waiting to enter the port. Jesus Christ. Sri Lankan, apparently the coral reefs are not resilient to climate change and spills are dying fast. Yeah. The Navy believes the blaze was caused by the vessel's chemical cargo, which is carrying from the port of Hazira, India. Sri Lankan police are probing the fire, and the court in Colombo on Tuesday banned the captain, the engineer, and assistant engineer from leaving the country. The government said it will take legal action against the owners of the ship to claim compensation. I mean, like, okay, yes, they should be held accountable, but like, I'm not saying that there should be no punishment. What I am saying is, like, it's over. Like, it's done. The destruction is done. Like, you could punish these people, and they should be punished. But the reality is, it's done. It's done. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be punished. I'm saying that, like, the focus should be on making sure that this never happens again. That this shouldn't happen in the first place. And that's by having, strong environmental protections, regulations, moving away from these things that could, create these ecological catastrophes. I mean, it's effed. There's no way around it. It's effed. That's right. There's no compensation for this. I mean, like, and again, I'm not saying they shouldn't be held responsible or they shouldn't have punishment, but like, it's the damage is done. Sri Lanka's environmental minister, Mahinda Amarawira, said it wouldn't be an easy task to calculate the damage caused to our environment. Yeah, I mean, like, what do you... He told the media late Wednesday that an investigation was underway to determine what went wrong and whether the shipping company was responsible. If this disaster happened due to negligence, and those responsible should be punished. Yes, but like, I mean, what are we... at this point, what are we gonna do? Due to pellets, all fishing industry in the western half of Sri Lanka and South India will be severely affected for the unforeseeable future. This is horrifying. Talks break down over crumbling Yemeni tanker threatening massive oil spill. A decaying supertanker anchored off Yemen with 1.1 million barrels of Arab-like crude oil on its hold looks increasingly likely to wreak havoc in the Red Sea. Experts are warning talks between the UN and the Houthi administration in control of the area, aimed at brokering a deal for the international intervention, reached a dead end late June 1st, according to the Houthi statement. Jesus Christ. Like... yeah, microplastics and everything. They heavily depend on fishing. Now they're not even allowed to fish. Yeah, they can't. I mean, this is a disaster. Some reef is being restored by new tech. It's microseeding coral and regrowing it faster than the natural rate, but still it's not enough. There's plastic eating algae too. I think there's like plastic eating bacteria. Not sure. But all of these things, I think that the rate of destruction that we're doing is supersedes all that. The structural integrity of the FSO Safer is rapidly deteriorating, risking a catastrophic oil spill that threatens the region's people and marine ecosystem, which scientists describe as a critical refuge from climate change for corals. A solution has proven elusive in a country mired in civil war and humanitarian crises. The Houthis have repeatedly blocked requests to bring in international expertise, funding, and equipment to safeguard the area, declining to grant permission to access the vessel under terms acceptable to the UN, despite agreeing to a deal in principle in November of 2020. This is another ticking time bomb. Just... so the idea that things don't need to change and will be okay, is not true. Get them jobs at Amazon, I suppose. This is horrifying. Speaking of more climate news, a 20-foot seawall, Miami faces hard choices of climate change. A proposal to construct barriers from storm surge protection has forced South Floridians to reckon with the many environmental challenges they face. 3 years ago, not long after Hurricane Irma left parts of Miami underwater, the federal government embarked on a study to find a way to protect vulnerable South Florida coasts from deadly and destructive storm surges. Already, no one likes the answer. Build a wall. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's see how that actually ends up being. This is a bandage on a gunshot wound. Alright folks, before we get into this, I'm going to take a quick break and I'm gonna take a quick break and take a second to show for myself. If you enjoy the content, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTubes, and follow us here on Twitch. If you like the content, we're here Monday through Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, doing the news and politics. Saturdays, we hang out, have a chill time. And enjoy some kitty cats. Yeah, Saturdays about noon. And of course, if you want to support the channel, there's different ways you can do it. As this channel, is supported by you guys, there's many different ways: subscriptions, biddies, donos, merch, all of that awesome stuff. Really appreciate you guys. You guys are what makes this go. Thank you guys. I will be right back. Atlantic World Jesse with a tier 1 subscription. Thank you so much. Gifting a tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Super Poggers. Building a seawall will work. No. Wait. Building a seawall will work. Not really? I mean, no. It's a band-aid on a shotgun wound. It's a band-aid on a shotgun wound, my friend. Because like, oh yeah, sure, we'll temporarily be able to hold back like the rising seas and storm surges, but how do you fix the fact that as climate change gets worse and worse, there'll be more and more hurricanes each time it gets stronger, and each time the damage due to winds, and the potential structural damages, and hurricanes often spawn tornadoes, especially the large hurricanes spawn tornadoes, which create more damage. I mean, like, this is a band-aid on a shotgun wound. Alright. 3 years ago, not long after Hurricane Irma left parts of Miami underwater, the federal government embarked on a study to find to protect the vulnerable South Florida coast from deadly and destructive storm surge. Yeah, you know what would work? Restoring the mangroves. Restoring the Everglade mangroves. Because it turns out the quote-unquote wall to prevent destructive storm surge is the mangroves. We have a natural defense, had a natural defense for that. Yeah, it's like putting it's like just throwing buckets of water on the California wildfires. Yeah, like that. Okay. build the wall the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers proposed in its first draft of the study, now under review. 6 miles of it, in fact, mostly inland, running parallel to the coast through neighborhoods, except for 1 mile stretch right on Biscayne Bay, past the gleaming sky rises of Brickell. The dramatic $6 billion proposal remains tentative and at least 5 years off, but the starting suggestion of a massive seawall up to 20 feet high, cutting across the beautiful Biscayne Bay, was enough to jolt some Miamians' attention. The hard choices that would be necessary to deal with the city's many environmental challenges are here, and few people want to face them. Yeah, hey, we've been talking about this for quite some time now. And it's like, it's only a matter of time before this just doesn't work. We're gonna have to relocate all the people living there to somewhere safe. Yeah, eventually, that's what's going to happen. And again, the more we continue down this path, the more catastrophic scenarios happen, right? If we continue down this path without no change, if we continue to go down this path with no change, business as usual, the chances of the more catastrophic scenarios happening within this lifetime start rising, right? Already, if we don't change within 5 years, there's a 40% chance that we hit that 1.5 degrees Celsius in 5 years. That's 2026, folks. About 40% chance that in 5 years we'll be seeing, if we continue down this path without moving, without doing anything to change course, it's 40% chance that we'll see the 1.5 degrees Celsius. And if we do hit the 1.5 degrees Celsius, then all of a sudden the more catastrophic scenarios start becoming more and more likely.
I'm a company and I pollute,
Whoa.
but I don't pay.
I mean, true.
So here we are with this year's edition of Global Warming. It's hard to deny, and you're walking at it. This is sea level rise at work in Delray Beach, Florida. You can see it coming right out of the Intracoastal. Now, when they built these houses, they didn't build them with the assumption that they'd have a natural swimming pool out front. But that's exactly what they got. Now, I have no idea why the city didn't protect these people, why there aren't sandbags out here. I do know a couple of years ago, one of the longtime residents built his own seawall, and the city told him it had to be torn down. And they said that they have their own seawall they were going to build, and that would protect them on this side. Now, they built a seawall just to the north of here, on the other side of our Intracoastal Bridge, which is working pretty well. But there's no problem. The problem with seawalls is you build it and you put the water somewhere else. And some of this water may be a result of that seawall. The other problem we have in South Florida is that the whole thing's built on top of porous limestone, which means the pressure from the seawater underground leaks fresh water coming out of the Everglades, and it causes a lens effect. So in some areas south of here, the septic tanks inland are not working because the sewage has no place to go because the
That's right. That's right.
water table's too high. And the other problem is that there's literally street flooding inland of the Intracoastal, of the ocean. And people are putting up with this up and down our coast. And Delray is absolutely one of the worst.
If only we could learn to breathe
But it's been
underwater.
going on for years.
That's the solution right there.
If you knew this was going to happen, why didn't you do anything? Why didn't you protect these people? One of the first jobs of government is to protect life and property.
Yeah, and I mean, he's right. Why didn't they do that? Well, clearly we don't have the incentive to do so. This is governmental failure.
So, someone should have done something. This isn't a surprise. It happens every fall with the king tides, and it gets worse as the years go on. As the ice sheets melt, as the glaciers
Don't you
melt,
want to buy one of those
we're in
houses?
a-
Yeah, it's super cheap.
So anyone who denies sea level rise or global warming needs
Good
to watch out.
investment.
And anyone who thinks this is
Just
a
sell
critical issue needs to get involved. This is bad. And this is just the beginning. And if we don't start doing some extreme things to straighten this out, this water's going to be well inland. People are going to be dealing with it. And, you know, there's billions and billions of dollars worth of property, and that's bad enough. But it's also affecting people's lives and livelihoods. And you just have to stand in it to understand this water isn't just going to stop on its own. We got to change our ways. And I'd actually tell you the truth, I've seen it even worse than this. So you just gotta wonder where we headed. And I hope that whenever we have the king tides, and I just met a woman who did this, that people bring their kids down to see this, because this is the beginning. And I'm actually recording this as much to.
This was 2 years ago, folks. This is 2 years ago. This is not acceptable. Hold a small lake with the water, digging basically a pit. What are you talking about? This is not the solution. You're proposing like band-aids to shotgun wounds. Like, and second of all, we don't necessarily have like the ground to build random lakes everywhere. No, it really doesn't. You know what would start turning this around? The solutions are at the root of the problem, which is the majority of it is fossil fuels. So we need to do whatever it is possible to get ourselves out of fossil fuel, to get ourselves off of fossil fuels, and begin to understand that this needs to be done as soon as possible. That's it. One of the biggest issues, biggest problem, solutions is to get ourselves off of fossil fuel. Yeah, don't ask what happens when that fails. Yeah, like this presents other problems. This is so myopic. Just return Florida to the alligators. True. True. In Miami, the U.S. metropolitan area that is perhaps the most exposed to sea level rise, the problem is not climate change denialism, not when hurricane season, which begins this week, returns each year with more intense and frequent storms, not when finding flood insurance has become increasingly difficult and unaffordable, not when nights stay so hot that leaving the house with a sweater to fend off the evening chill has become a thing of the past. The trouble is the magnitude of the internet-connected obstacles the region faces can feel overwhelming, and none of the possible solutions is cheap, easy, or pretty. I mean, like, the alternative is just to let everything go to shit, and then, like, that's it. That solves everybody's problem. Nobody wins. How about that? Like, what? This is some defeatist, like, you know, attitude. Even if the US and the West went completely off fossil fuels, it wouldn't matter? Wait, what do you mean? It wouldn't matter? What are you talking about? Hold on. If the US alone... If the US alone went off fossil fuels, that would have a huge ramification. That would have a huge ramification. That would have a huge ramifications. Like, so, what is the alternative here? First of all, the US has a responsibility to be first. In terms of, like, what responsibility that we bear. Second of all, without the US taking the step, considering the fact that it's influence in the world, nobody else will. Nobody has the, you know, reach that we do in terms of, like, our economic influence. We have to do it first, then have a leg to stand on the international stage and provide resources and technology to the other countries. One recognizes a problem, but say we shouldn't do anything are the worst. Yeah, exactly. And furthermore, it's our companies that are making this mess. Yeah, It is our responsibility. Yeah, that's a huge chunk. It matters if we do. It absolutely matters if we do. It absolutely matters if we do. Because that has other ramifications, right? The US can then export that technology or export the green energy plans out to other countries. It absolutely matters what the US does. And I don't get it. It's really weird how that works. Like, only like American exceptionalism only seems to work in like it seems to me like American exceptionalism only works in like when it comes to like, I don't know, military or like imperialistic like context. Then American exceptionalism is great. But like when we try to be like, hey, why don't we use some of that American exceptionalism to develop the new technology, to develop new technology to bring us into the future, to be the first to completely have as much as humanly possible green and renewable economies. Nope, the American exceptionalism just goes out the window. The quote-unquote third world can be, first of all, they don't really necessarily emit that much, and second of all, the point being is if we make the blueprint here at home where we make this economy capable of doing green and renewable energy, then we can go to them and say, hey, look, here you go. Let's let's export that. This is such a defeatist attitude. Like, we just can't do anything about it. And Biden tries a new strategy with moderates as frustration grows. President Biden this week took the rare step of calling out two Democratic moderates, President Joe Manchin, and I suppose we'll call Kyrsten Sinema, Madam President Kyrsten Sinema, in a sign of growing frustration over stalled legislative priorities. We can just give them green tech and let them regulate how they see fit. Yeah, like green technology, export that, and give them the blueprints. Right? Essentially. Using a global chain, tons of raw materials and finished goods, shipped to contents and trick. I have no idea what this means or why it's relevant. Where are we making all this tech? Here or import it? It doesn't really matter. The point being is that, well, it needs to happen. Okay? Whether we manufacture it here, which is possible, we can manufacture it here and export it. It doesn't matter. The point being is, yes, we have to understand that there will be an initial investment of green energy, of pollution or emissions of CO2, but that initial investment is to permanently get rid of fossil fuels. After this, I'm going to cook up some bacon, maybe something to go with it. I'm still a meat eater after all. That's okay. I mean, one step, yeah? Or do we create hundreds of literal microgrids to allow for unpredictable rolling blackouts? Well, that's a meme. That doesn't happen. Like if wait, renewable energy doesn't have this problem. This is like maybe, hey Doc, how's it going? Maybe like decades ago when like renewable energy was just being a thing, they didn't really have this figured out. But technology has already advanced to the point where like rolling blackouts is like not a thing. The only way to reduce poverty is to destroy the planet. Yep. What if you converted all the weapon manufacturing and engineering research centers for green and renewable energy instead? Yeah, hey, look at that. Here's a hot take. Why don't instead of we make move weapons and manufacturing of guns and bombs and all this other stuff to trying to fix this problem? I have survived the meeting with my boss, chat. You did it. All right. Wait, so you are complaining about a problem without even offering a solution? Wait, is this like... Wait, what kind of nonsense, like, illogical, like... what? This doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna sit here and complain about a problem and offer absolutely nothing because I don't think that there's absolutely nothing that can be done, and therefore... the logical conclusion is we don't even try. Like, what? Okie dokie. That makes total sense. I mean, I understand if the attitude is doomer, because there's definitely a reason to be doomer. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. We shouldn't move or push politics in the manner, or push politics in the manner of like trying to do it, trying to fix the problem. Yeah, we already do that, Jesse. Would you jump in front of a train to stop it? That's not even remotely good a good analogy. How about you wait, what? You won't stop it either way? Do you mean like you the individual? What does this mean? Like this means absolutely nothing to me. Basically what you're saying is that there's no point in trying because you feel like there's no solutions, even though there's technically a plethora of things that we can do to at least attempt to try to mitigate the worst ends of it. So I mean, this is just ridiculous logic. President Biden took rare steps in calling out two Democratic moderate senators, President Joe Manchin and Madam President Kyrsten Sinema, in a sign of growing frustration over stalled legislative priorities. Congressional aides say Democratic lawmakers have been reaching out to the White House in hopes that Biden would be more actively involved in efforts to convince Manchin's key swing vote to get behind Democratic agenda. Manchin has expressed opposition to core elements of Biden's legislative priorities, such as raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour, overhauling campaign finance, which is really weird, overhauling campaign finance and election laws, enacting a House bill to expand background checks. Background checks? Is this related to like gun control? And raising corporate tax rates from 21 to 28%. Sinema has also bucked her party at times, particularly on raising the minimum wage. Yeah. But the thing is, like scientifically, it technically hasn't. Like, just based on, like, scientists, what they have to say, it hasn't, though. It hasn't. And even if our job is still to try to do the best we can within the time that we have, within the tools that we have, right? So, either way, it doesn't make sense. Well, the West in general, developing the world has already displaced the carbon. It will do so until past current, the developing world will soon reach first world levels of emissions. Or the United States can intervene and begin to develop green renewable energy to export that. You're acting as if this is impossible. Anyways, Biden on Tuesday took a new tack by singling out Manchin and Sinema as two significant obstacles to his agenda, though he did not name them directly. Referring to himself in third person, the president said Biden only has a majority of effectively 4 votes in the House and a tie in the Senate with 2 members of the Senate who voted more with my Republican friends. Yeah, no kidding. Pretty much, they're trying to say that no human effort will have no effect, right? Like, but humans are the ones that cause this. Manchin's too busy fighting for corporation bribes to fight for people. True. Green energy has its own problems. Wait. Wait. This is ridiculous logic. I'm pretty sure Peach Pie Lord is a boomer and doesn't have to worry about it. Well, that's even worse. That means that they're just selfish. The remark struck a tone that Democratic senators thought was appropriate, particularly since it put Manchin and Sinema on notice, but in a way that didn't imperil future cooperation, even though they, in fact, do not vote more with Republicans and Democrats. I think he's angry, but keeps it under control. Wait, wasn't there like... Hold on. Wasn't there like, Hey, Surfer Go Gritty, thank you so much for the 100 biddies. I appreciate that. How come I didn't see that? Wasn't there like wasn't there reports that actually Joe Biden is pretty on edge? He's very he has anger bursts and stuff like that. Yeah, I think we went over this segment, Thinking Sabercat. I think we went over this. Yeah, Biden has always had anger. Yeah, there we go. I think he has anger. He's angry, but he keeps it under control. Okie dokie. I think he knows the consequences of lashing out at Manchin and Sinema are just going to be counterproductive, said Ross Baker, a professor of political science at Rutgers University who served several stints as a Senate fellow. What you do in this situation, given his personality, is you express mild irritation in an oblique way, you get it on the record. It's interesting because it's done as a kind of observation rather than as an accusation. I mean, like... I think that, like... we spoke about this yesterday, I believe, but I just want to kind of, like, bring this point back, dare I say, circle back to this point, because I couldn't talk about it a little bit more in depth. It's basically a shift in tone, right? The important takeaway from this, is a shift in tone, right? This is this does not translate. This does not translate to actions, but it is important to note the shift in tone, right? Where it seems like this administration is like taking a look and saying, "Hey guys, we're not doing anything here. We're not racking any W's here, okay? We're not racking any W's here, and there's a certain 2 fellows that are not cooperating." So it's interesting to see the shift in tone. Whether or not that translates into actually whether or not that actually translates into any type of whether or not that translates into any actual action is yet to be seen. But there is definitely, hey, actually, Steak, how's it going? There's definitely a shift in tone, right? Yeah, wasn't the Vietnam War based on like a lie? It was done on a false pretense. I think we went over this. Yeah, the Gulf of Tonkin never happened. That's right. There you go. That's what the incident is. Yeah, that's what the incident is. Yeah, nonsense based on lies. Kind of like what the Middle East conflict is. But by pointing to Manchin and Sinema's two major answers to pundits' question as to why the White House isn't racking... yeah, there you go. That's it, right there. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Why the White House isn't racking up more accomplishments in a Democratic-controlled Congress, but barely. Biden was putting the spotlight on them. Yeah, like, that's the idea, right? Why not bully them? Because it may give you the opposite effect. It may give you the opposite effect. So, the fact that there's a shift in tone here is important to note, and I do think that it's good. It's good that it's being acknowledged. It's good that it's being acknowledged. However, it may or may not translate into actions. I don't know. Are you saying that 9/11 is a lie? What the Middle East Are you okay, dude? Listen, are you okay? Do you have like a listening problem? Hey, did anybody hear me in chat? There's like about 20 of you guys. Did anybody hear me say that 9/11 was a lie? Did anybody hear me say that 9/11 was a lie? Or are we having like difficulties, or do we have like a listening problem? Yes, I said the Middle East conflict was based on a lie. Yes. No. Is that 9/11? No. What are you talking about? I didn't mention 9/11. Yeah, that's right. The Gulf of Tonkin and 9/11 sound pretty alike. They sound the same. No. I said the pretext as to why we were in the Middle East is a lie. Then who are we fighting in the Middle East? I have no idea at this point. Nobody. Definitely not the people who attacked us. The lie, what I meant by lies was, hey, Gaming Mind. What I meant by lie was the whole pretext of weapons of mass destruction, and we had to invade Iraq and invade Afghanistan, even though they had nothing to do with anything, but we still lied about it and and the public was forced to be on board, was propagandized to be on board, invading Iraq and Afghanistan, when that had absolutely nothing to do with anything. And where is Iraq? In the Middle East. We knew Saddam had chemical weapons because we sold them to him. Yeah, Afghanistan had nothing to do with 9/11. Most of those folks were from... Wasn't most of those folks from like Saudi Arabia? It seems like the propagandized the propagandized mind is just on full on display here. So the big lie was the fact that we needed to do a war to depose Saddam Hussein and invade this other country on the basis of weapons of mass destruction that were A, later found out to be that they lied about it, and B, never found because they lied about it. That's my point. Jesus Christ. That's why I have a problem with it. He was running Afghanistan? That's weird. I thought someone else was running Afghanistan. I thought that weren't the Taliban running Afghanistan? Like, this is completely divorced from reality. Like, this is just not even factual. This isn't historical. This isn't even accurate. What are you talking about? Yeah, that was the false pretenses of expanding the War Powers Act to give the president the ability to act as that in that manner. Yeah, so it could include anyone and gave Bush carte blanche. Yeah, that's exactly correct. And that was a problem, which was all based on a lie. Which again, that was my entire point. Holy crap. Like these people, anyways, I'm getting too caught up in this. So TLDR, it seems like there is a shift. A shift in tones here. And we'll see what this translates to, if anything. Okay? Really quickly, folks, this is going to be just absolutely quick.
By now, I'm sure that you've heard about this, but I just couldn't not talk about this because it's such phenomenal news during times like this. So Nina Turner, congressional candidate in Ohio's 11th district, competing in a Democratic Party primary currently, tweeted this out. She is in first place according to a poll just released. She says, thanks to the hard work of our volunteers and supporters all over the district, our campaign is polling in first place. We are not taking anything for granted, and no, it will be a tough fight. Our work to center the everyday people of Ohio 11 is only getting started. So as you can see, she's at 50%, and in second place, we have her main opponent, Shontel Brown, who has the backing of the Democratic Party establishment. At 4%, you have Johnson, 3% Smith, 2% Barnes. So essentially, this is going to come down to Nina Turner and Shontel Brown. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that 21% are currently undecided. That is a relatively large number. This is an early poll, so keep that in mind. Now, here's the quick breakdown of demographics. Nina Turner is doing great with white and black voters, but white voters currently make up the largest share of undecided voters. So look, I'm making this video because I think that it's important to know that the work that we've done to elevate Nina Turner is paying off. Having said that, though, I always get a little bit fearful whenever I tweet out good polls because this can tend to have a backlash effect. Now, it would happen regardless if I made a video about this or not. But basically, if the Democratic Party establishment sees that a particular progressive is doing really well in a primary, that's when they kind of pull out the big guns. That's when the donor class starts to acknowledge that they need to get involved in this race. Otherwise, a progressive is going to end up winning. Now, Nina Turner has so much momentum. She just picked up the endorsement.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'm gonna just say this. I don't know what type of shenanigans they could do to overcome that gap. So I don't know. They could try, but I don't think they can overcome that gap. That being said, thinking Sabercat, it didn't really even do that because the Taliban still to this day control Afghanistan. Okay? Anyway, folks, that is all the time I have today, unfortunately. At the Call of Duty. Unfortunately, I do have to get going, logging into work. I appreciate all of you guys hanging out. I really do. Thank you guys so much for all the support. Thank you, Surfer Go Gritty. Thank you, Atlantic World Jesse, for the support. Thank you for all the new follows. I appreciate all of you guys. Hey, Doc. See ya. Have fun at work. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Please make sure you follow all the wonderful folks with the diamonds. Heat 420, Surfer Go Gritty. Awesome people. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you guys. Hey, Gaming Mind. Thank you. Thank you, Darknet. Thank you, Game Mind. Thank you, Spread It Forward. Thank you, Golem. I appreciate that. Sorry for my DOS comment. It's all good. It's all good. Just trying to protect the channel, yeah? Thank you, Golem. Thank you, Gaming Mind, Darknet, Spread It Forward. I appreciate all of you guys. Nina should run for senator after... I don't know. Maybe. She has momentum. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. As always, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. I love you all, and I hope to see you guys in the next stream. See ya! And remember to show love and respect to each other. We're all human beings. Alright, folks? No need to fight. No need to fight each other. Okay? Let's head on over to Bleep Blop Ben. Let's do that. Alright, folks, we're heading out in 5, 4. Heat coming in with the last 5 biddies. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Get them biddies in. That's true. Thank you. Let's go.